Alrighty, boys and girls, well, now the conviction is gonna be tested in the market. Now that we have some redness going on, some red period happening in the market right now, the spaghetti hands are freaking out and the market is shaking and does not know what's happening. Now, we just had a Bitcoin pump yesterday and today is red again. What's happening, sir? Well, in today's video, we're gonna be looking at why the bull market is right around the corner. We're gonna be looking at some interesting chart. So with no further ado, let's get into today's video, and as usual, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, very important. Now, if you woke up today, you'll be looking at some nasty charts. What we are looking at today is a rejection by Bitcoin and by Pepe as well. As we've said, now Pepe is the leader. If Pepe goes down, the other ones don't feel that great, or basically it's really a response to the market, right? So what we seen yesterday is this resistance from Pepe as we compared it to that previous one here, right? We had a breakout and then retest, and then we went for another high, and now we have a rejection. We might just do this, right, and keep going. And also got Turbo, right, still consolidating, still following that plan, which is important, right? I'm still waiting, by the way. I've seen people asking, why am I buying now? I'm still waiting, though. I said I'm waiting for that $200 million market cap for Turbo, which is gonna be interesting, right, as the bull market is right around the corner, and I'm gonna explain. Now, we need first to go to that Bitcoin dominance now, but Bitcoin dominance is kind of showing us where the market is at right now. Are we on an altcoin season market, or are we on a Bitcoin only market? Now, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, it mainly means that Bitcoin is the strongest asset right now. Once Bitcoin dominance goes down, like we see here, this red, we have a season or an altcoin season, massive explosion of meme coins and altcoins and all that. This was 2021 meme coin season, altcoin season, and all that crazy stuff. Also here was that 2016, 2017 stuff. And we're going to show you that more in details. Now, the target I have for this Bitcoin dominance is around 58. Even the most bullish people on Bitcoin say around 60%. But I would say 58% is going to be that area where we're going to start to see Bitcoin dominance reversing. And this means biggest altcoin season, meme coin season ever. And this means also these guys are gonna run like crazy, and we're possibly gonna see Pepe finally breaking above the $10 billion in its market cap. All these meme coins, also top meme coins, are gonna start making those huge runs. But the most important here that I want to share with you guys is others are other coins besides the top 10 by market cap. So it really shows you what's happening in the market with altcoins and meme coins, things that we do actually care about, those big runners that actually make the most of the money in the cycles and all that stuff. So we're gonna have to do this with Bitcoin, others against Bitcoin, and how they perform. I'll also shout out to your friend Tommy for actually talking in details about this. So we're gonna go through it here, and basically here, guys, this red and green is the super trend. So this is an indicator that shows you, are we on a bullish momentum or bearish momentum? So bear with me here now. Very important to see this happening. So finally here today we have this, or this week. So this is the weekly chart and it follows each week, right? So now what we have is the first red, like it started this point here, the first red super trend, which means now the trend is changing, right? Ooh, scary, right? But let's look deeper into this, right? So what happens usually when the super trend turns red on others? So we'll look into 2017, as this was also one of the biggest altcoin seasons, and it's a good example, right? So here was that 2016 first altcoin season and all that stuff, and then we've seen a cool off, like we're seeing this cool off, right? If we look at it here now, as soon as it did that red print, right, it went sideways, right? Like nothing was happening. Basically people were scared, like what we see here in this tweet, right? I don't know how this happens. Every bull market, everything soars, then there is a period of chop, and somehow all of crypto Twitter dies every time. It's always happens, right? And we are here now. So if you survive 2022, 2023, 2024, this will be the shortest red period we're gonna have, and possibly after that the biggest altcoin season. So once we got that, it took around 70 days or 2 months, let's say, before we started seeing this huge, massive, parabolic altcoin season. Just to give you some perspective, we're gonna add XRP, because this XRP here was one of the biggest gainers, basically. So this was the first run on 2017, back in 2017, and you can see that XRP wasn't really doing much in the first one, and then as soon as we passed those 2 months, we started seeing a spike on XRP, and then a massive run with this first 2017 run, and by the end of it, we've seen the massive XRP run. And this whole period here was also the bull market, right? Altcoin season, everybody getting rich and all that. And then as soon as it turned green, right here, by the time we topped and we seen XRP topping and the market cooling off and all that, it took around 300 days, almost a year. Now we also had the second top here where other coins were pumping and other narratives were pumping, and until there it took almost 400 days. But around a year, let's say, or less than a year, where was most of those gains and money made in the crypto space back here. Now if we look at 2021, it's also very close to it, or what we see here. So here in 2020, right, when we've seen also that print on the super trend on others, once we've seen that, for it to turn green again, it took around 77 days, right? 77 days, or let's say another 2 months, right, where it went down. Now basically here it went a bit too down, right, because of the pandemic and all that stuff. So back in 2017 it did not go that low. So this also took around 77 days or 2 months, and then we started seeing the run. So we are still here. This orange line here is XRP. You can see now that XRP also went down, right, went down with it, and then as soon as it started running, XRP started running with it. But anyways, here 2021 we had different gainers. We had Dogecoin, which we can add as well. Now if we add Dogecoin, we can see that Dogecoin skyrocketed and XRP did not do much. Now basically XRP was already an old narrative, and as you all know now, we always need to find new narratives if we want to make big gains. So let's hide XRP now for a minute and look at Doge. So here Dogecoin wasn't doing much, right? Dogecoin was just like going sideways. Possibly there were some runs like we see here today with Pepe or some other coins like WIF, Floki, BONK, even though we had a massive Memecoin season and we're happy and glad to have that. But if we go back in time, Dogecoin wasn't really doing much, right? And then once we switched that to green here, right? Once we switched that, the green we've seen here, you can see that Doge started its pump, and then it took around 84 days to see that massive run from Dogecoin, right? Took around 80 days. So 2 times we had only like 2 months of sideways, let's say, no altcoin season, nothing like that, just sideways, time to accumulate and all that, like people also sell and all that, go away and all that stuff like we see now with the tweet. It always happens, right? And the same people come back to buy the tops. So then 84 days we've seen that run. So keep that in mind. What we have now today is the first week we've seen this red, right, turn red. So if it takes around 77 days again, it's gonna take us right around August. We're possibly gonna be doing this, right? We're gonna have some bleeding or like some sideways before we see the next run where we're gonna see this. We're gonna see Pepe, Dog. We've had those. It's gonna start this big run like we've seen with Doge, this massive run, like out of nowhere Dogecoin started pumping. We might see the same thing with Pepe, as it is now the unicorn of this cycle. Now if we add Pepe here, we can see that even though like we were in this green time of altcoin season and others running against Bitcoin and all that, Pepe only started its run here like around February 2024 when it really started doing those pumps, like those massive pumps. It went from, it broke above that 1 billion finally and started running towards 6 billion, right? And if we bring back Doge here, back in 2020, there was a little tiny start of a rally that we can really see now because of the massive run here. And then as soon as we switched green, we had a huge spike and then a consolidation and then a massive run after that. So if we go back to here to Pepe and we kind of try to see what this means here with Pepe chart. Now keep in mind, if Pepe runs, it's the index. It means Memecoin season. All these guys below here are gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna explain even more that. But you can see here with Pepe, this means we're gonna have possibly this, right, until August, maybe some dips along the way, and then suddenly we're gonna see a huge spike, which is here, like this one, this first one, right? We're gonna see a huge spike. Maybe Pepe goes to 8 billion, maybe goes to 10 billion, and then once we see this massive run here that we see now with Dogecoin back in 2020, this means possibly Pepe is gonna run towards that 40 billion, 50 billion, or even more, or even higher, right? Reach the target we have for it. This also means we're gonna have the craziest season ever. So that's one thing why the bull market is around the corner now, 2 months basically, where it's pretty much dangerous actually to get out of the market now, because we never know when this can happen. Like we know it usually takes 2 months months. Sometimes it may take even less, especially with this bull cycle we're on now. Right now, we're front running every other narrative. We front ran the ETFs. We've seen the first time ever Bitcoin pulling a new all-time high before the halving. We've seen a lot of stuff that the market is ahead of itself, right? So we really don't know. Now it's actually dangerous to not be in the market looking at this now. So now if we take a fractal, right, like a similar pattern that we had back in 2017 and pass it right where we are now. Let me remove these other guys here. So if we put it here, this is the 2017 run. So also from that time it turned, super trend turned red in 2020 to the time it topped, it took around 427 days. So if we align that here, 400, let's say 450 days, and we put it right here. Now, if we take the 2021, put it on a different color now as well from here and stretch it. Now, what we see here, guys, if we lay out the 2020 and the 2017 and the 2020 bull market, we have until September 2025 of a massive run. But the first one will be around January 2025 or the beginning of 2025, where we're gonna see the first Pepe run, right? Like we've seen with Dogecoin back in 2020 or XRP back in 2017. So this gives us the first top, right? Like usually here we see those big gainers or the big narratives that have been running, making their first run. So this would start based on this data. It will start around September, October. We're gonna start to see that first impulse up from Pepe and the meme coins and altcoins, and then they will pull their tops around January, February, even March of 2025. And then we're gonna see the second leg, right? So back here, we had Dogecoin here, right? So here we had Dogecoin making its massive run. And then Dogecoin did not run here, did not make its run. So if Pepe runs fast here and make its first high around 40 billion or 50 billion, we're not gonna see it doing another run in the second time. In the second altcoin season, it might just do a 2 or 3x or maybe nothing, right? Now, what we've seen here back in the days, in the second top, we've seen Shiba Inu. So this is when Shiba Inu appeared, SafeMoon. We've seen other low market cap coins making their massive run. So this is basically what I've been saying, where we'll see Pepe making that 50 billion, even 70 billion or more, flipping Shiba Inu and all that mania and all that stuff. And we're possibly gonna get a cool off like we see here. We had a second cool off, right? A second dip, like a retail first time experience a dip and all that stuff. And then we had a second run. So on that second run, we had Shiba Inu. So on that second run here, we're gonna have those low market cap coins that we are talking about all the time now, right? Like those Myros, Bonkies, these other ones here lower, the Brett Eat and all that stuff. The low tiny caps, right? Those are gonna be those bigger gainers like we've seen with 2021. Now, obviously, there are gonna be some new narratives that we don't know yet, right? So now what we know so far, we have AI and meme coins, but meme coins are the strongest by far, right? Memes are the strongest. These could do their first run here, right? Around end of year, beginning of January. And then we're gonna have the second leg, that leg up. We're gonna have a big dip, maybe Q2 2025, like a big dip again. This time it will be different. Like this time is like back in 2021 when we had that dip in summer and May and go away and all that stuff. People did not call for bear markets. People were still waiting for bull market. It changed, right? Not like now when it drops, everybody starts to call for a bear market. And then here, it's time to load up on these second runners, right? To load up even heavier on these second runners, like the low market cap coins. Like even though they will run with this first run, right? They will be even more expensive. They'll possibly be around 200 million, 300 million, right? And then they will go to their run to 1 billion and above in the big gains like we've seen with Shiba Inu, even went to 50 billion, right? Shocking everyone. So, and this was here, right? The second top, like here was Doge, remember? And here was Shiba Inu back in the days. And the same here, we had like Litecoin and all that stuff in XRP. And then the second top, we had different coins pumping. Here also we had Luna, we had other narratives pumping here, gaming, metaverse and all that stuff. And we had a second meme coin run in 2021. So it's very likely we're gonna get a second meme coin run here. But after Pepe tops, right? And Dog, we've had Floki, those big ones top. And then we're gonna have the second runners. But just keep in mind, like the coins that are now at 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, they will keep running with these run, right? Like the first run, they will run with it, but they will not run as hard as Pepe and the other ones, but they will run. If they are at 10 million cap, they would possibly go to like 100 million, 200 million, but then they will lag. And then the second run, they will go even higher. That's how Shiba Inu actually did that. By the second top, Shiba Inu made its massive run, and then there were other coins running with it. Like there was Floki, there was other coins running with it here, SafeMoon, Baby Doge, and these guys, they were running. And Shiba Inu here was at no market cap like here. and then it made this massive run, right? It's out of a sudden made a massive run. So now here to summarize it, let's add Pepe. Now Pepe is the green chart as usual. The frog stays green, and what we can expect, right, from Pepe and the top meme coins to do once we enter that green super trend and bull market season, right? So now we've seen already Pepe doing these pumps, right? But these are tiny, microscopic compared to what's coming, right? Keep in mind that's how it started with Dogecoin. Now as soon as we're gonna have this kind of cool off season, and then suddenly it's gonna run harder, like maybe to 14 billion, right? We've seen this with Shiba Inu also did 40 billion quick, like 14 billion from 1 billion to 14 billion, and then like 1 week of cool off, and then another massive run, a massive quick run to 40 billion and above in moon time, right? 70 billion flipping Shiba Inu and all that stuff is gonna happen, and then we're gonna have this first dip here, right? Like the first dip that we've seen in 2017, we've seen on 2020, and then we're gonna have the second run, like the second altcoin season. So this second altcoin season, we're gonna have the other meme coins, the other ones, the low market cap ones. Like we don't know yet who are gonna be these other ones, right? Like just because now they might run now, right? So like there is Toshi now with 150 million, it might just run to 1 billion, 2 billion, and it's not gonna count anymore, and it might just run with Pepe and all the other ones. So these guys actually here, they might not be any more low market cap coins, but they might be also close to, like, as soon as Pepe is at like 10 20 billion, these guys here are gonna be in the billions, right? As they're following Pepe, right? So Pepe is 5 billion now, and we have Magat, let's say, as 500, or Pepe coin 400. Like this one, if Pepe goes to 50 billion, this one will go to 4 billion, let's say, right? So this means also like Turbo, let's say it's gonna be at 3 billion, and like the Myro possibly gonna be at 1 billion. So they're all gonna 10x if they do, right? If they follow Pepe with that run, and if Pepe goes to that 50 billion, they will 10x all of them, right? Like these guys that are the strongest, they can 10x just because of the hype. So they will 10x follow Pepe, and they will not count, but some of them will do the second run, will do the second shocker run. But the ones that will actually do that second shocker run are the ones that are really now like in the trenches, right? Like, or narratives that we don't know about yet. Like it's hard to actually pinpoint which ones are gonna do that. But what we know now so far is when Pepe runs, it starts the meme coin season, and all of these guys here run. And we also know that Pepe verse narrative is the strongest, so we can also kind of know our bets, right? Like our bets are on Pepe verse. Pepe is gonna be like the Dogecoin of 2021. So Pepe runs, Pepe verse narrative is gonna follow, right? Like you got the Andes, the Bretts on ETH, the Bretts on Base, the Base chain narratives, all that stuff. It's gonna drag all the market with it, right? Like Pepe verse narrative, Pepe runs, Pepe verse, Andes, Bretts, Landwolves, all those guys on ETH and on Base, and it's gonna drag. Also, we're gonna have, as soon as that Base season is gonna start, Brett on Base also is gonna drag the Base chain season with it. So we have a chain reaction that's gonna start. Like with Solana, that's the different story, right? We don't know what Solana coins are gonna do, but they will run as well, right? Like with BONK runs, is gonna follow Pepe. Maybe BONK is gonna go to 10, 20 billion, and then the second one to BONK is Myro. So Myro could go to like close to 1 billion or something. So they're gonna 10x, and then we're gonna have different story then, right? Like we're gonna have low market cap coins that are gonna be now at 100, 200, but then they will be cheap, right? Because we're gonna be here, right? And the second dip is gonna happen, they will be cheap, around 50 million, 100 million. The retail that are gonna come, they're gonna want to buy cheap stuff. They're not gonna buy Myro and stuff like that. Like whales are gonna buy those Myros at 1 billion, 2 billion, but like most of the people will look for those tiny ones. That's why Shiba Inu run back in the days made its massive run here. People did not want Dogecoin. People seen Dogecoin in the news. Dogecoin topped, right? Put that almost 100 billion dollars, like 90 billion dollars in its market cap. So nobody wanted it anymore. It started cooling off, and then Shiba Inu went ham after it, right? Not only Shiba Inu, there was like Floki, there was other meme coins that don't exist anymore, but Safe Moon and all that stuff, they were going crazy, right? Like Baby Doge went from 0 to like 300 million or something. So that's the point here. That's what we know. Obviously, I'm gonna keep updating you. You want to subscribe, we're gonna keep looking at this and what's gonna happen. Now, to keep it short, we gotta have maybe a month or two of like nothing is happening. Basically, we're just gonna sit on our hands and wait for the market, buy the dips, right? We get some decent dips. I'm looking at some low market cap gems as well that I'm gonna share with you in the next videos. And that's it. Literally, we're gonna have to wait now. Wait for this summer to go slowly. It's gonna be slow, it's gonna be choppy, and people are gonna be bearish. Mind you, people are gonna call for lower. But then remember that we got like maybe 2 months of nothing, and then the massive run, and it's gonna be a shocker. It's not gonna wait for anybody, right? It usually doesn't wait when that starts. Like if we look at Doge, right? So Doge in 2021 here, like 2020, it was just going like nothing is happening, right? Like nothing is happening. Like now today, people will say, "Oh, that's it. It's a bear market. This is selling off." It's like, you know, it's done with. But then once it started to run, it didn't stop. It actually did not stop or did not give dips. And people that sold here, they were waiting for some dip to come down here, maybe to accumulate and then wait for it, but it did not happen. It just went straight up. It went here 1 week of massive pumps, a bit of sideways, and then a massive pump, and then people were like, "Oh, that's it. It's gonna drop," right? I remember I actually started selling, thinking that's it, and then it made another run up, right? And it never came back. So today, people that are on the sidelines are taking the risk of this happening, right? Like this massive run that could take us by surprise. We cannot really time it. We're trying our best, right? We're trying to say that maybe it's gonna take 2 months and it's like end of July, starts beginning of August is gonna start. We're trying to time it, but at the end of the day, the market is gonna decide when this is gonna start. We cannot know for sure, like the day, the exact hour, and all that stuff. As soon as this starts, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going, like out of the blue, right? Like out of the blue, Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin, and then boom, that's it, hands off. It went to the moon, and it never came back. So we don't know, right? We cannot expect what some tweet is gonna do, or like somebody's gonna come, or something is gonna happen, and then it's gonna ignite that massive run, and we're not gonna stop from there, right? And it's gonna be too late, literally. So we have 2 months, right? Accumulation, and then it's gonna be too late to buy. Besides the low market cap coins, right? Like just to give you some perspective, like as soon as this gonna start, like 2 months is gonna end. So the whole thing here is gonna take like 2 months, like 4 months, where we're gonna have 2 months of down and then 2 months of up, and the 2 months of up is gonna be this massive run that we see here, and it's gonna be it, right? Like it's gonna be 2 months. Most of the gains are gonna be made. Everybody's that's meant to be rich is gonna get rich, and that's it. It's gonna be over for most people, right? And then we're gonna have to wait for the second run, where the low market cap ones and the low market cap meme coins related to Pepe and all that stuff, they're gonna do their massive 1 billion, 2 billion runs, and it's gonna also take around, like mind you, 2 times it took around the second run, also 180 days or like half a year, let's say. Whereas this was more entertaining, but more like low market cap plays, like we've seen recently with Pump.fun and all that stuff. It's gonna be more chaotic than the first one. The first one mostly gonna be very obvious, right? Like we know which coins are gonna run, like Pepe and its friends, and we know Dog with Fat, Floki, Bonk, because now the time is closing in. I don't think they're gonna be some big meme coin coming now. So these are gonna make their big run, and we know them now. But the second part of the cycle, we don't know. That's the part that we actually don't know what's gonna happen. We just know that Pepeverse narrative is gonna be around, right? Some AI maybe, but we don't know here. It's gonna take a few months. So most of the money is gonna be made overall here, like 2 months, then nothing, and then another 6 months or maybe 4 months, right? And then it's over, and the bull market is done, right? That's it. That's why people make fun of JEETs and sellers and spaghetti hands and all that stuff, because they don't understand. You sell now, or like you've been selling here and thinking that it is a bear market, and then when this happens, they actually capitulate and start to buy, but then by now it's too late, right? It takes 2 months, and then sideways, then 2 months again on bull market, and then it's over. Wait for another 4 years. So it's very important now to understand these things that we are looking at. We're gonna have 2 months of nothing, then 2 months of a massive bull market, then a 2 months of like cool off, and then another 4 months or 6 months of really going crazy. Everything here popping left and right, and stuff happening, and things going crazy, and maybe some new narrative, and God knows what's gonna happen. And then bear market, right? Bear market possibly end mid 2025, right? Summer 2025, and the party is over. And that's about it here, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for the top meme coins I'm buying right now for the next video, and thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I want to see you on the next one. Cheers.